There is a thin...
Oh, yeah. Why do I not hear you? Can't hear you.
Because I'm muted.
Oh, you muted yourself and then forgot to unmute yourself.
Yep. Well, I mute myself because the birds get all excited when they hear voices, and he was going bananas when you were on talking, so I had to mute it. Happy solstice, summer solstice to you.
Yeah, what about that? This is the time when we should be working. I can't get this thing to sit straight. Hold on. Let me sort myself out here. There we go. All right. Settled. When we should be working with our dreams to help manifest our reality because we have more daylight hours to create all the activity needed to bring those dreams to life.
Well, I can tell you I'm manifesting. I'm manifesting that today our days start getting shorter.
Yeah, well, that's what happens after today.
Yep, too much daylight. I'm like, what the heck? You know, and,
it's summer. Bears are supposed to be out of the cave, out rummaging around, foraging for berries.
I'm rummaging, all right. I'm rummaging and trying to clean closets and clean things out and get rid of things that, because of the past 4 years, I've had so many freaking surgeries and stuff like you do, or have had, that I'm trying to play catch up and make more room and just get rid of stuff that. Would you hush, Mango? I know you're excited.
Beep, 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 beep.
He's so crazy. Yeah, so it's like trying to catch up. And, you know, you look at stuff, and I dropped a ton of weight, and so all my clothes are...
I wish I could say the same.
Well, I didn't lose it the way I would like to lose it, but...
Right.
So I've got clothes that go from tiny to big. So I'm like, you know, I don't need 50 black T-shirts. I don't need, 30 pairs of jean shorts, just get rid of them. So
right.
I'm working on.
Oh, my goodness, the energy. Today,
we're going to talk about totems. Hi, Cookie. Hi, Kay.
Ruth is there. Connie is there.
Hi, guys. Yeah, clean. I laugh because they always say like spring cleaning, but I really don't do that in spring. I usually start in the summer, like in June, when I do that stuff. And today,
well, where you live, your weather in June is like my Tennessee spring.
We actually went down. We were in the 30s a lot this month, and we actually had hail. It was like the size of golf balls coming down.
See, that's nuts. You need to come further south.
Yeah, no, I bought this place. It's my cave.
Come on.
I don't even make it south to Taylor's house, and that's 3 hours.
Come join in and enjoy the humidity.
No, I'll pass. So, yeah, well, our lake, we were talking about how the weather has changed.
The bird is making too much noise. It's drowning you out.
I know. Stop. He's a happy boy today. Oh, my gosh. He's a happy boy today. Time to get him Batmaned out. Hang on. Okay. Move. I'm gonna cover you up. Come on. So and he's actually could be a totem, right? He's actually is a totem, I guess would be a way to put it. I'll just lock him in. So maybe.
Hey, Audrey. Hey, Natalie.
So we're going to talk about totems today. I've had actually quite a few people talking or asking me about this stuff. I actually got into it a little bit yesterday on my stream. And it's about how to find totems, what totems are, what, guides.
Stan Hughes, his book is awesome. We both have done that.
Whose book? I'm sorry.
Stan.
Oh, yeah.
Stan's book.
Yeah. Wow. That goes back a ways.
It does, doesn't it?
What
was the name of that one?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look it up. Stan Hughes.
Actually, oh yeah, Kay, I have no idea what my spirit animal is. Well, what's funny about that, and from the time I was a kid, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, as far as I can think back to like when I was
Medicine seeker.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's all right. We start when I was a kid. I didn't realize that people couldn't hear what animals were saying, or birds, or any kind of creature that was alive, even fish. I just didn't know. I thought
Cookie Monster. I think it should be obvious. Your totem is Cookie Monster.
But I didn't realize that all people aren't like that. So it wasn't until I was like 7.
Just like, you know what else people don't have? That voice in their head, the narrator in their head. I don't understand that. What is there in place of that? Is it just silence? I think I might lose my mind if I didn't hear that.
That's a good point, because somebody did ask me that too the other day, and it was actually, how do I know it's just not me thinking it, or if it's like a guide that's coming in, or divine energy talking to us, or what? And that's kind of a good question, and I think that a lot of people do things in a different manner. We're not all alike, so how things are done. And I laughed because I told somebody the other day, there's no book to what we do. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's how you connect, and it's going to be different for everybody. Even if it's just slightly, it's still going to be different for everybody.
Right,
and
right.
I don't know, because I've always been conscious of it.
I don't think you have to take a quiz, although Medicine Seeker, his book is so extremely thorough. I forget, there's like over 100 questions he asked you.
Yep.
So it's very thorough, but you don't have to do that. It's what do you connect to? What do you relate to? Do you relate to giraffes? Is that something that always catches your eye, always calls to you? Elephants, tigers, squirrels, butterflies, whatever it may be.
Taylor made some comment. This was a few years back before they had their house, but
exactly, Kay. Exactly. Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. I went down, and she was talking. I don't know what we were talking about, and she says, "Well, you got bears, and you're bear. I don't have a totem." And I stood and I looked around their apartment, and they had this gorgeous apartment. And I said, "Really, you don't?" And she says, "No, I like animals. Obviously, I love them." I said, "But you don't know what totem might be walking with you." And she says, "No." She had so many freaking elephants.
The bird is canceling you out again.
She had so many different elephants of any kind all over the house. Pictures, tapestries. Stop. God, you're loud today. What is your story? And I just kind of laughed at her, and now they're in their house. She still has elephants everywhere. And she goes, I go, "Why do you have elephants?" She goes, "I don't know. I don't know." I said, "Well, you've had elephants since you were a kid." She always loved elephants. And I said, "So don't you think that has some kind of a connection to you?" She goes, I don't know. I don't think so. And it's like, so all these people that'll sit there and say, "Will you stop?" will sit and say, "I don't know what my totem is. Can you tell me?" I can see them with other people. You need to hush. See, he's all full of the solstice energy is what it is. Anybody want a totem called Bingo? I think that, people will say, "Can you tell us?" Well, that's not for me to tell you. Just because we can see what's with them doesn't mean that they shouldn't find it themselves. I also find it really interesting when people go, "Oh, I know what my totem is." And of course, it's either a raven or a wolf or, a bear. And it's like,
tigers,
and I'm looking at it,
popular.
and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, no, that's not what I see walking with you. But it's like, okay. or, people will say that just because it's like a popular thing, right? And I have a friend of mine who actually is so convinced that she walks with a wolf. And all I have seen around her for over 30 years, like, because we were in school together, is a raven. And it's like, okay, you want a wolf? Yeah. And then people go, oh, I'm a lone wolf. My totem's a lone wolf. And it's like, no.
Wolves aren't supposed to be alone.
Yep. If you see a lone wolf, they're sick.
It's sick. Yeah.
Or they've been
something's wrong.
cut out of the pack. So yeah, it's always interesting. Yep. Hi, Ward. How are you?
What gets me is when people say, well, so-and-so said I was this, so-and-so said I was that. I'm like, but do you feel connected to that? If you don't feel connected to it, then you may want to, figure that out for yourself. And you don't need because some people, they will just say anything.
Oh, yeah.
And they sense what they want you to say and will say that thing they want you to say.
There's also, and this always cracks me up too, because
you're breaking up on my.
That's because he's like everywhere. Oh, he just stopped.
You're all garbly.
I'll go out and come back. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hey, everybody. What'd you say, Ruth? Yeah, I mean, it's not something that you have to really worry about. Oh, I've got to know my totem. I've just got to know. Just what are you drawn to?
Well, have you ever also seen when people, their behavior or the way they are will mirror, like bear for me? I'm just going to use myself as an example as a bear. I do. I walk slow. I bumble around, and I don't mean bumbling in a bad way, but I take time to do things, and I'm never in a hurry to get down the road.
Right.
And like,
whereas I am getting where I'm going quick.
Right. And running down that road and saying, "What the hell's wrong with you? Aren't you coming? Like, what's going on?" And I'm not that way. So I have those attributes, and if you listen to some people when they start talking or they start talking about their life or you get to spend time with them, you'll see the traits that are with this person. Now, see, Ward just said down here he believes his is a raccoon. And, I've had people that I've known that had ants, A-N-T-S, as totems.
Yeah.
And I mean, it can be any kind of creature, and they're.
Well, look at the ant, though. The ant can carry way more than its weight. They are structural engineers. They are like top of the line when it comes to that.
And their community.
Very big community,
together. They all work together for one purpose.
Hey, Doreen.
If you see people that, or you see these clips of ants, like what looks like a river to them is like a little trickle to us, but they'll get a leaf and everybody will jump on the leaf and they'll make like a bridge to get across the stream and then they'll all jump off. But they work as a team. So, there's all kinds of creatures. And also the fact that we may have one main totem, but then others will come in during our lifetime to teach us.
Right,
and we can actually have more than one totem. And that's what people are like, oh, well, I'm this and that. How can I have, a bird as a totem? And it's like, well, for some reason, they're there to help you along at that point in life. Like
you have to look at them more like spirit guides. Whenever you're going through something, a specific totem can come in and give you a hand and kind of guide you and lend you that energy from that totem to get through whatever it is you're going through. Like the hummingbird. Reminds us how to extract the sweetness out of life and also is a reminder to look at herbal solutions.
Also energy, because they work at a high vibration.
Yeah, raise your energy.
Go at night, when they get ready and the sun goes down, they slow their metabolism down so much that people think they're dead. They're very limp. You can't wake them up. And it's not that. They just are restoring themselves and bringing energy back into themselves so that they can go about it and do it again the next day.
Right, because they fly thousands of freaking miles to get to do their migration, don't they?
Yeah, you know, I haven't actually seen any here yet up here where I am, and usually I see them because I'm here in the lake. I haven't actually seen any, and I think it's because it's too cold, because they come up all together. And we have, over the years, I've seen like 5 different color variations and size variations of them. That's another thing too, though, with totems, and I'm not even saying you use them as totems, but creatures, right? I don't listen to the weatherman on TV. I watch what the animals are doing. And when I had the horses, I would watch what the horses did, like with their coats, right? They would start getting really, really woolly, like getting a heavy coat in September. I knew we were going to have an early winter. But if they didn't get them in September and not till like towards the end of October, I'd know that winter was going to start later and it wasn't going to be as crazy as it is. So if you watch everybody,
Hey, Chloe.
You can sort of, they guide our lives. Even if you don't accept the fact that you have a totem, you need to pay attention to the creatures.
Yeah.
What does Sue here say? Let's see here. Dream catchers and wind chimes since I was young. I had past life regression, and I had been a male native shot by a man with a rifle in my teepee. Oh, that would not be fun. No. Yeah, those are guides. You know, we have that's another thing that comes in, and I often think that we have more than one guide too. It just depends on the situation. Have you connected with a certain guide for yourself?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's the raven and the wolf, of course, but also there's a red-tailed hawk. It's like every time I turn around, or every time really I'm going through something, that red-tailed hawk is right there. On those days where I'm really like either in my head overthinking or whatever, that red-tailed hawk shows up to remind me that I need to look at things from a different perspective.
What about guides, like people guides, I guess would be a way, or divine energy guides, or how about, you know, some people, I don't label them, so it's kind of a...
Well, you've got the angels, of course. I'm constantly seeing the angel numbers, like all the time, every single day. And then, of course, we have to bring up the fairies. I'm the one who sings to the fairies and collects thousands and thousands of four-leaf clovers.
I was talking about that with my friend Lynn yesterday. She says she was walking her dog. She goes, "Oh, wait." And I said, "What?" She goes, "Hang on." And she goes, "Oh, I found a 4-leaf clover." I said, "You know, you and Holly need to get in a bus and go find yourself a clover patch." And she says, "Why?" And I said, "Because Holly walks outside and like, oh, look, I've never in my entire life."
Yeah, I literally have thousands.
Oh, I know.
Like not 1,000, like thousands and thousands of 4-leaf clovers. How many did I send you, Ruth, that one time I was trying to collect them for you? I think 222, or maybe it was 111.
Yeah, just rub it in.
It was an angel number. I remember that. I was trying to get to 444, but it was taking too long.
I have never, ever found a 4-leaf clover. Even when I had the pastures with the horses, I never could find 4-leaf clovers.
You have to sing to the fairies. If you sing to the fairies, they will show you where they are. Come on, sing to them. They love to hear you sing, whistle or hum or whatever.
I got these guys singing in my head. That's fine. That's enough. I don't need to sing to the, you know, Lily.
Sing to the fairies, and they will show you where they are. Oh, I'm so glad, Ruth. Yeah, 1 year I went out and every day I would look for 4-leaf clovers and I put them in a journal for Ruth. And when I got to 222, I sent her the journal. And then it has some little motivational things in there as well, I think.
I just can't. Okay, so when I'm working with guides, because a lot of times, I don't know if this happens for you, but when I'm doing readings for people, sometimes their guides will show up because they want them to have information, or what have you. And so their guides will come into action. So I'm looking at Ruth and she's like, she just can't find and figure out who any of my guides may be.
Well, that's because Ruth stays in her head too much.
Do you hear that, Ruth?
She heard me. She knows.
Me.
She stays in her head too much. She tries too hard. That's the thing. You can't force it. You have to be able to relax yourself, relax your mind and body, and let it come to you. What are you drawn to?
Audrey. Oh my God, so many 4-leaf clovers. Oh my God, I was gifted 3 this month. Oh yeah. Sing to the, and I won't even say them out loud because
I probably even have some in one of these books. I bet you. Let me look. Because I keep these journals. I bet you.
Maud, that's cool. You know, we all have guides, you know, and the guides can be, you know, you never know. You know, people will say, oh, you know, I have this guide and that guide. And,
there's one.
I've seen Cleopatra. Oh, shush up. It's like, you know, your guides can be anybody. It can be any,
I know there's some more in there.
An old spirit, you know, somebody that was here before. I actually had for a long time, I actually had a samurai.
There's one.
Shut up. A samurai that was a guide for me. And there was a reason, because it came in at a specific time in my life and he assisted me.
There's 3 more.
You know what? You know what? That's not nice.
You
That's
love
being
me.
mean to me.
You love
being
me.
Mean to me. Being mean to me. And it's like, you know.
Here's 7 more.
I had to bring that up. You know, the bad thing is, and I'm going to put this out there. Yeah, I can see you, Jillian. I got you. Nope, you're here, Jillian.
There's no reason to be afraid, Ruth. No reason to be afraid.
Yeah, like, why? I mean, that's another thing that was going around the other day. Just hushed about the 4-leaf clover, y'all. It was going around.
I'm going to get you singing to the fairies before the end of this.
Every time I even say the word or the other word, which is with Cherokee, what they call them, I have nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble. And they move stuff in my house. And
because you're not singing to them. They want you to sing.
Nope. As soon as I mention the name, that's when stuff happens. So nope, not happening. Not happening. Okay. Oh, Sue, how sweet. Look what she put up for us.
I know. That's just sweet.
That's just mean. Okay. That's just mean. Okay. That's just mean. Okay. So Ruth, you know, you're saying about, oh, you said it, Ruth, and I'm not even reading it. Ruth, you said it. So you'll get the visit from them, not me.
Oh goodness.
I had them move my drum one year, my shaman drum that I got from Yolanda Martinez. And it was kind of like a lot of energy with that drum. So I had put it on one side of my room and it was moved, when I got up in the morning, it was moved to the opposite end of the room, closer to where I was. Yet, no, I don't play with that stuff. I don't. I'm glad you do. Ruth, happy for you. I'm glad you love them. And they do help some people. And it's kind of like little dogs. I like all animals and I love dogs, but I don't like tiny dogs. They drive me crazy. So this is the kind of same thing. Oh, look, here's another one. Oh, I found 4-leaf clover the other day. Well, see, you know, you'll have luck. You know, I have
5-leaf, 6, 7, 8. I even have 8-leaf clovers.
Oh, give me a break.
I do.
Give me a break. Give me a break.
I have
Oh my
loads of 5-leaf.
yeah. Well, I've kind of, all right, so we're getting off topic a little bit here. Just, yeah.
You wanted to know.
Well, whatever. The guides.
Careful what you ask for.
And they get vibrationally different, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when our guides come in, you'll actually begin to recognize them. Some people don't see them except in their mind's eye, but you can feel a vibration. And I know this came up the other day, actually, in one of my groups, was like somebody went off on a tangent and was like, oh, that's evil talking to spirits, or it's evil talking to spirit guide. No, it's not. If your intentions are good, and they said, well, yeah, you can ask any pastor. Well, sure, I can ask a pastor. I had my ex-husband call a pastor to our home because of what I did. And I told him, I believe in Creator God. I work with Creator God and the divine energies. So they gifted me with this. And because I do it, I'm not doing it evilly, right?
Right.
So, but there's different vibrations. Like when the divine energy comes in for me, like when I did those angel paintings or those divine paintings, right? It's just all energy and they vibrate so high. It's like a ringing in my ears. And then I start sweating. And I'm not a person that sweats.
Right.
And that energy hits me. I mean, my face I get sweating up here. The other day I actually did a reading and I had so much divine energy and I had jeans on. When I was done with that reading and I kept telling her, she goes, are you okay? I go, yeah, it's all this divine. My jeans were like I had jumped in the lake. They were just, I literally had to take
drenched.
So everything comes in and it'll vibrate different for everybody. And it's just how you react to that energy.
And for me, like, I have to tell you, I meant to do it yesterday and totally forgot. Then I was going to do it yesterday. I was thinking, okay, I'll do it today. And then I got to work and I was like, shit, I forgot again. Because, I'm in here in this office all day by myself, so I can do other things and they're okay with that. I want to do a deer painting, but a very specific deer painting. That is what's coming to me right now. And I don't know why I'm going to do it. I feel the need to do the deer painting. I think it was last year, I did a sunflower painting completely out of the blue. I did not know who it was for, who I was going to give it to. It ended up giving it to my daughter, but I just did it because I was called to do that. It was on my mind for like months before I even did it. But when something doesn't let go of you and it keeps coming up again and again and again, that's when you're being called. That's when that totem is coming in, that spirit, that energy is coming in, and you have to listen to it. So I know that tonight when I go home, I need to get a canvas and get some paints to bring to the office. And tomorrow I will sit here and I will paint a deer.
Well, I know that's it. Last time it occurred with me was in the end of January just before I broke my leg. And I got up that morning and it was like, okay, you got to paint. And I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, you got to paint. And it's like you're allowing it to almost channel through you. And you just start doing it. And there's like no preparation. It's all in your head. So that's kind of, and then I wait. And then I haven't been able to paint again. And if you try to do something, it isn't going to turn out the way you think it's going to turn out. It's the way they want it to turn out. So I haven't been able to touch my boards at all since I fell. And I haven't been able to complete. I've got like 4 pots that are been fired that I need to glaze. Haven't been able to touch them. I have another pot that I have to complete before it gets fired. I can't touch them. So it's like, okay, so when people say, and well, Margaret, you're here, you do these, she does these amazing pictures and they're like energy when I see them, right? And it's amazing to watch what she comes up with. Cindy Keza just posted a post on her page yesterday of auras, right? but it was very different. It was some primary colors in there, and it wasn't what you would think of as an aura around a person.
Yeah.
It was like sacred geometry was in it, and that's exactly what I saw when I looked at it. So you never know when you allow things to channel. It's kind of like automatic writing. People can have messages through automatic writing from your guides. You can do painting. It can be a number of things.
Here it is.
Oh, so she's going to show us now. Oh, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
In the screen.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It was huge too, 30 by 40.
Well, why does that happen? Why? What is our purpose to do that? And
because I love sunflowers, but that's not something I would put in my house. It doesn't go with the rest of my house.
Yeah,
I'm not a sunflower decoration person. I love sunflowers, but as flowers.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. But then again, on the other hand, as I'm sitting here saying I don't get it, it's like you aren't supposed to get it. You're supposed to just do it, right? So
because you are the vessel in which it has to be created to get to the right person.
Well, in this painting, this is the one I did in January. I'll show you. And it's an angel of sorrow and healing, right? Total energy painting. And if you were to see some things that I didn't, like all my life, that I drew, painted, all that kind of stuff, it wasn't that. So when I started doing this kind of work, it was like totally different. And it's energy. It's pure energy. And I don't even know what's going to happen. I just sit and do it. And it's like, oh, I guess I'm done now. And they're quick when they come in, and they're bossy too. Really super bossy. To the boys, do the boys have totems? Your grandsons? I like saying it.
Yes.
Grandsons.
Yes, they do. In fact, they're very adamant. I had done, and Leo, that boy's brain, his mind, he remembers everything. You just have to say something once, and he will remember everything. So I forget what it was. It was some sort of totem or birth sign, but it wasn't anything it wasn't Native American, it wasn't Chinese, it wasn't the zodiac. I forget where it came from. Anyway, I'm a road like a road you travel down. I was like, well, that kind of makes sense. I try to lead people to the light. And then he is a snake, and he's always talking about being a snake. He'll say something or do something, and he'll say, I did that because I'm a snake. And Gabriel is an alligator, and he has never forgotten that. And he'll say the same thing. He brings up alligators all the time. So they really, truly relate to those things.
That's interesting that you brought up gators, because the past 3 months, I'd say, crocs and gators are everywhere with me. Everywhere with me. I mean, and I'm fascinated by them. And part of the reason that I think they're showing up is because they have this ability to heal themselves. They've got like a built-in antibiotic within their leather. And even if they get like in fights when they're little and they lose a leg or part of their tail, they heal. So It's like, I don't know if that's why it's coming through or not. Now, Sue,
I'll have to find that site. I can't remember what it was, but it was so interesting. The different things. Robert was a rabbit, and I forget what Michaela was. But if you ask Leo, he'll freaking tell you. He remembers everybody's.
Sue says she'd be a bit scared to try to sit and draw or write, and she says, in case I can't stop. Well, okay, I'll let you say that. You go with it first, and then I'll add something.
Well, you just got to go what feels right, what calls to you. Otherwise, for me, Like that sunflower stayed with me for at least 2 months before I went ahead and I'm like, okay, I got to let this go. I have to get it out of me. It's driving me nuts. I was dreaming about it. I was seeing it all day long. I knew exactly how I needed to paint these sunflowers. And until I did it, it would not leave me alone. So I had to do it to get it out.
I have now Sue's asking how can you control it? Like if you're, sitting to do automatic writing or you're sitting to, I've never had an issue with.
Why try to control it? When you try to control it, when you get in your mind and you're trying to force it, then it changes it. It's not the same.
Well, and another way too of finding totems is you can sit and just let your mind go and doodle, and you'll find often that the animals will also come up, or like dragonflies or butterflies, or praying mantis or whatever. But if you let it go through, you're doing it with good intent. I really, in order to get, at least in my opinion, and I'm not the know-all, end-all, no one is, but in my opinion, if your intent is good, you're not going to invite things in that are negative, so you'll be able to stop when you need to stop.
Right. If something feels bad, then you stop. If it doesn't feel good, then stop. If you're getting tired, then stop. If it's making you feel ill, then stop.
Yeah, I just think that when you do try to connect with guides or totems, you just have to be open to it. And again, I think it's just basically good intention. I mean, if you're gonna be a person that's gonna go out and go into the dark area of stuff, and I won't mention names. There's a couple programs on right now that I just shake my head because they're inviting it in. Okay, you don't go to a prison and go into a cell where somebody was murdered and set on fire and go in there and say, use me for energy, tell me how badass you are. You don't provoke, and you don't want negatives to come in. If you don't want negatives to come in, I feel pretty safe. And I've been doing this like you have a long time.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that negative things can't be there, because they
Right.
are. And
anytime I have felt negative energy, I shut it down right then and there. I don't sit and get in my head and wonder and get curious. As soon as it starts feeling creepy or negative in any kind of way, shutting you down. If I have to get some herbs out, some oils out, or whatever I got to do, I'm shutting your ass down.
Yeah, I mean, it just, and it's not that it doesn't exist. You just have to use positive. And then if you do, like Holly's saying, if you feel something negative coming through, get up and walk away. Go ground yourself, go smudge, whatever you want to do. I just have never had that problem. Now, that's not saying that I haven't worked with people that have attachments or the D word. I've actually had the D word twice in my life. When I was in my 30s and when I was in my 40s, working with 2 separate clients. And I knew immediately what it was. So we went to find the root cause of it. And then I passed it on to my elders, who were medicine people that knew how to deal with it. So, but I didn't call that in. But the people that I was working with, they didn't even call it in. It was actually somebody in their home. One of their kids had done dark magic, and they summoned it, and it wound up attaching to their mother, and that was the intent. So yeah, dark stuff can happen, but that's also why we have totems. Like I did a read yesterday online when we were streaming, and I don't remember who it was for, but the Komodo dragon came up. And the Komodo dragon is one of the largest reptiles right now. And it's one of the oldest besides crocs and gators. And they're massive and they're powerful. And yes, there were dragons on Earth before, like during prehistoric time. So if people think dragons didn't exist, they do. This one doesn't have wings, but this one is big. So when our totems come out, they're there to help us and protect us from stuff. Same thing like with the bear. I relate to the two main ones are polar bear and the grizzly bear, but the grizzly bear is always with me. But it takes a while for me to break into that grizzly.
Yeah.
And if that happens, get out of the way and look out. And
Yep.
then it takes over. But it takes a lot to get there. So you can utilize them as kind of like guards for yourself. That intuition, they trigger stuff if you acknowledge them.
And look up the different meanings for the different totems and what medicine they bring. Because perhaps, say, a bear is coming in because you need more rest, or maybe it's you need to look at an herbal diet. You know, there's all kinds of different things there. Maybe you need to do some more introspection. So you got to really look at all the things and what's going on in your life of why are you focusing on this animal? Why does it keep showing up in your life at this moment? What's going on? What does it bring to the table that can help me right here, right now with what's going on in my life?
Yeah, and if you want to look, hint, hint, you can go over to my website, bearmedicinewalker.com, and I've got a whole section that's dedicated to that because I do use them in my readings. Now, when I do a reading, like a full reading, not a streamline reading, if they want me to, I'll throw three cards to sum up everything. And what cracks me up is how spot on they are. And now I do remember this. I don't remember what was said, but yesterday, I think I have 72 cards in the deck. I shuffle them for each person. I shuffle them and split them and cut them and all that. And I want to say at least 5 times out of 72 cards, the scorpion came up 5 times yesterday. And I was like, wow, I guess that says a lot about what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
So, but you look and you learn what they have to offer you. And, I look at some of the silverback gorillas. Okay. I've been seeing a lot with gorillas lately as well. And if you watch them and how they take care of their family, even the babies, right? And I don't know how fast they grow, because I think they grow in a similar way as humans do. They start out small, and it takes them a number of years to get the size that the adults are. And I watched one the other day, and the male, the baby gorilla's dad was sitting, and this little one went up to its back, and it looked around and it went poke, and then it took like 3 steps backwards, and the dad just went like this, like swatting a fly, right? So then the little one kind of looked around this way and looked around that way, kind of snuck up. And I'm like watching this, and I'm like, this is a typical child, right?
Yeah.
Walks up to this gorilla, and then he goes, bam. And he reached around and he grabbed them, and they were playing and rolling on the floor, on the ground with each other. And I thought, wow, that's like people. So you can learn so much from them. Elephants, like we were talking a little bit, elephants, the female elephants herd together to protect the babies. Like they'll completely encircle them.
Yeah.
They're so smart. And what's so sad to me now is creatures, I think, have more empathy and compassion for each other. They grieve. They have a lot of human traits that we've kind of lost as humans in 2023. And I think we can learn a lot from these creatures. So don't give up, people. Just look in your life and see what's around you,
So here's a little story. When I started this job, one of the other ladies I work with, she is in love with owls. Owls. It's owls are her thing. So her birthday was not too long ago, and I was like, I was going to do an owl painting for her. I didn't tell her, of course. But then Spirit changed my mind, said, no, I need to make her a dream catcher. And I don't know her well enough to know whether she would have liked something like that or not. But I was called to do it, and I did it anyway. And I created a dream catcher that was shaped like an owl, that looked like an owl. And I gave it to her. And oh my gosh, she keeps coming back to me. She came to me like the day after I gave it to her. She said, "You won't believe the amazing dream I had last night." I said, "Oh, do tell." So it just helped her connect and relate even more so to the owl. She said they always come to her in her dreams.
That's cool.
And she embraces it.
Yeah, that's cool. I love owl medicine. Owl medicine is really awesome. Somebody did, one of the guys in here just said, is this show about paranormal stuff or is it about art? And it's like, well, you know what? Artwork.
It's everything.
Yeah, both of us, it comes in and we can use that as expression from spirit, what we use. And yeah, it's every aspect of your life can be utilized through with helping with spirit and totems coming in to help you. Usually they show up, the totems show up, and you'll keep seeing them. Like Holly was saying, like the numbers, you kept seeing the 444s and stuff. You'll keep seeing them. I know ravens, for me, are always a big deal because they wind up, they follow me outside, which is really weird. Because
they now?
Anyway, if I'm not listening, they'll like stay around my home. They'll actually follow me in the house, window to window, like whatever room I'm in, and they're screaming at me because either I don't want to pay attention to them or I don't want to know.
Right.
And they'll leave once I say, okay, I'll listen. And once I listen and get that message. So there's so many creatures that can teach us. And I think that's the main thing with totems is, you know, don't just come up with the popular creatures that are out there because you think it's cool. Really tap into what it is. And it, like, I saw somebody was saying about cats, right? I have cats. Cats. That's, cats are a thing.
It could be a goldfinch. It could be absolutely anything. Oh, hedgehogs. Aren't they just adorable? They are so freaking cute.
Have you seen the babies? Oh my gosh. They're
awesome. My gosh. Just too adorable.
Yeah, they're like.
And there's nothing wrong with having an ant totem is no less than a wolf or a bear totem. But people get in their mind that size matters. I wonder who thinks that. And so they want the biggest, the baddest totem out there. That doesn't make you big and bad.
No.
Think about an ant and what ants can achieve. I don't see any wolves or ravens or bears creating that kind of, on that kind of scale.
I had skunks come up yesterday.
Oh,
and skunks can teach people a lot as well. And baby skunks don't have the scent gland, but from the time they can walk, they're scooting around if they feel freaked out, putting that tail up, but they don't have anything to spray, right?
Yeah.
But they can teach you so much about how they take care of their young, how they go around in the environment. I don't mind skunks. I don't. They're there for a purpose. Kay says, I believe in dragons are in too many places for millennia, and I'll describe them as scaly from Wales to China. We have creation stories about dragons. Okay, so this isn't mine because I was told to get it for somebody else, but this is a labradorite piece.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Isn't it?
It is.
It's not mine though. I can't keep it. I gotta send it somewhere.
I've had this idea ever since I bought this property. I have a fire pit. Like when you come up my driveway, there's a little grassy area with a fire pit. I want to have a big dragon, like life size, like massive dragon, and I want its back to come down and his back and tail be the seating area around the fire pit.
Oh, that'd be cool.
At some point, I'm going to build it. I'm going to create it at some point.
Well, you know, chainsaw art, right?
Yeah. Totally.
You can do that easy. You can get even smaller chainsaws.
No, but I want it big. I mean, life-size, massive, huge dragon.
Dragons, you know, they give you a lot of information, and the colors of them as well will shed light onto why they're showing up. You know, the white dragon also represents
the element of the dragon as well.
Right, and the white dragons, every now and then, not a lot, but every now and then throughout the years, I've met
wouldn't it?
that would have the white dragons show up. And the white dragons to me represent for me, okay, they represent that Christ or that divine energy. And not everybody, that's another thing too, not everybody's going to interpret what they mean. I mean, there's a basic meaning with them, but they can be so much more if you go deep into the meaning of them.
Right.
I mean,
You have to, just like dream interpretation, it's the same thing. A book can tell you this, the websites can tell you something else. So a dream interpreter will tell you something, but none of that matters except for how you feel about that dream. How did that dream make you feel? What was the dream trying to tell you? Because it is your specific dream, and things were elaborate in there for a reason. Why was this, that, and this other thing something else? So the totems are going to be interpreted differently. You know, a hummingbird may come to me for one reason and come to you for another reason.
100%. You know, and you look at the Druids, you look at through history, the Egyptians, you look at Native Americans, you look at, you know, the Aboriginal people in like New Zealand or Australia. Everybody in every one of those groups has somehow brought in animals, like creatures. They bring them in and they have a meaning for each of them, what they do, including the dragon, because dragon was really big with the Druids. And it's just, we need to work more in harmony, I think, with nature and with the earth energies. And if you can find that in that balance with that, I think it'll like benefit anybody that allows that to happen. One of those things to detect, what are one of those things that detects ghosts or spirit? You know what? This is a good question, even though it's like not about the totems. What I think is
Thanks, Connie.
There's two thoughts. There's two prominent thoughts. There's a scientific thought, right, where people want everything proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. And then there's those that have experienced it, and their experiences are what makes it their truths, okay? So a lot of times you're never going to convince a science person that stuff that we can't tangibly kind of...
They want the physical proof.
Right.
But somebody who's experienced it doesn't need any more proof. Yeah. They had the experience.
I have used tech. I'm not going to lie. I have tech. I have the K2 meters. I have simple flashlights that I've put out. I have REM pods that I put out. I have a ghost box, which picks up EVPs, where they're actually talking and using the electricity as it sweeps back and down to form words and sentences. To me, that's pretty scientific. To me, when a flashlight's sitting on a table in the middle of a room and you're asking questions and it turns on by itself, and then you say, okay, if you're really there, turn off, and it turns off on demand, okay, that's kind of like a truth. That's like, to me, that's like, okay, I didn't turn it on and I didn't turn it off. I'm 10 feet away from it. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways that you can, you know, they're coming up with new equipment all the time. Steve Shippey, who is actually here in Michigan, and y'all might have seen some of his shows on Discover Plus or the Travel Channel. The last one he did was the Hell House in Michigan. And this was a home that goes back, I want to say, at least 50 years in the mid-Michigan area. And it had stuff going on in it. And he uses all kinds of tech, modern tech, old school tech. And it's amazing. I love the tech. My daughter Taylor and David, they went to a place that he owns, a building in Saginaw, where all this equipment was there, the new stuff. So they went with 6 other people. It was like total of 6 plus Ship was there. And they actually went into this building and they worked with the equipment. And the thing said David. It asked David a question. It said David's name out loud. And they said, well, do you know who we are? And it said, well, because David was the one asking. Well, you're David. Okay, so okay, like how can you explain it? You know, it's
Yeah.
not it's not somebody in another room like they used to
Right.
do in the old times with, you know, that how do you explain it? It simply is.
Right.
So yeah, you know, tech JB, you know, tech can be useful, but again, it's the school of thought that you're from.
Yep.
Oh man, we could go on and on and on.
We could easily, especially with totems. I mean, but if any of you want to check out Stan's book, what was it, Medicine Seeker?
Yeah, Medicine Seeker.
There's
Stan.
over 100, I think it's 150 questions or something like that. It's a lot of questions in that book that you answer. And then at the back, according to your answers, it will tell you what your primary totem and secondary totems are.
Yeah, Stan, Papa Stan, I'm not even sure if he's still around or not. Because he was in his mid 70s when he was on our shows and stuff. He's actually out in the West Coast, and he worked with some of the tribes out there. And I've actually still got some of his artwork and stuff. And he was an amazing guy. So yeah, that stuff's available for you. It's Stan Hughes, Medicine Seekers, is it? Or
Medicine Seeker.
yeah, and he was, I loved him. He was an amazing man. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. Just remember, there's no easy button. There's no book like a manual of how to. Okay, it's not like buying an appliance or
It's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah, so you just
maybe it's something you just see all the time. Maybe it's something you can't get off your mind. Maybe it's something you tend to collect because it's hello, it's speaking to you. It could be something that keeps coming to your dreams.
Cats and hedgehogs. I love both of them, and yeah, I'd agree 100%. I laugh because I've had so many come in and out, and I also carry snake medicine, which I laugh because people are like, oh, gross, snakes, you know, and it's like, no, snakes are actually not slimy. They're very intelligent, and
yeah, they're not slimy at all.
No, and they've got a lot to teach us. I mean, if we could all do what
it's constant growth. They are always shedding off the old in order to grow. So think about that. It's one of the strongest medicines there is.
The process of shedding too. Also, once they shed most of the skin off their bodies, they still have skin on their eyes that they have to peel. So sometimes if you're using snake medicine, you have to remember that that skin needs to be clear and renewed so that you can see what's going on. So
that's right, Margaret.
Owl medicine as well. Owl medicine is intense as well. So
it is. Cool.
Some like I know for a fact, at least with the tribal people, the Native American people, some of the tribes and clans they don't agree with each other on what the owl represents. Part of them believe they represent death and evil. And then the other part of them think they're good omens, like really good omens. So, you know, again, like I said, there's no easy button. There's no manual on this. You just have to kind of sit with yourself and allow the stuff to come in the way it needs to come in.
Right.
Okay, let's see what other questions we have. What was this? Spirit's amazing. Yesterday, I was thinking how Mother Elephant protects all the babies, and two mothers fights the predator. Oh yeah, they'll take on a bull. They'll take on a bull.
They don't care what it is.
Yeah, no, they'll take on whatever. I've seen alligator crocs try to get at them. I've seen actually there isn't many things. I've seen them go after like lions come in. And the lions and the cheetahs and stuff, or the leopards, they all get the tar beat out of them by these elephants. And I wouldn't mess with them. I mean, you see two bulls. I actually posted this in group maybe 3 weeks ago. It was a bull elephant, like one of the oldest that's over in a reserve over in Africa. It might be Serengeti, I'm not sure. His tusks, he's so old. His tusks are like as long as the rest of his body. They're
Good
huge.
Lord.
I don't even know. He's protected. He's in, an area that's protected, but I don't even know how he walks. They've got to be really super heavy, but he's really old and everybody knows him. And he took on, well, no, he didn't take it on. A younger bull came in and he wanted the girls for this big male elephant. And he came in, and let me tell you, when you watch two elephants go at it, I mean, they were knocking trees over, trees that were like 100 feet in the air. They just leaned, like he knocked the young one on the tree, and the tree just cracked down by the root and went boom. And then the elephant went on its side, and they came at each other. And I'm like, yeah, elephants aren't to be messed with. I mean,
No, not at all.
they're very intelligent. So yeah, I agree with that. I love all animals though.
Yeah, JB's talking about using his ghost detector. You don't need to find a haunted place. Spirits are everywhere. You can do it in the woods. You can do it in your home. You can do it anywhere you want to do it.
Yeah, you know what? I will say I agree with this right now. The devil is definitely working with people. And that's another thing I will say. At least my belief, my truth is there is a fallen angel that is dark. Whether it's as man has written about it, I don't know. But I do believe that there's what people call like Satan. I do believe that they're here, or they're wherever they are. I think there's two sides. And I actually believe, as what I was shown a couple years ago, and it's still, I keep getting refresher memories from it, is that there's a war going on between good and evil, light and dark. And I think we've been seeing it come to kind of a head around the world with all the chaos is there. And that's what that is to me, JB, is kind of stirring the pot and creating chaos so that other things can happen. So yeah, I definitely believe that there is something going on. Absolutely 100%. Let's see. Oh, that's something. Colors now. Kay, I don't know if you're talking about auras. Do you dream in color, Raven?
Oh, I do. I dream in full color, 3D, 5D, all of that. I mean, most of my dreams are very realistic, very real life kind of dreams, and I can see all the colors in them.
Well, and I know you've done this. I've walked over people who have been passing or transitioning, and sometimes when they were kids, because that's where I work. They asked me to help them get there. Like the kids said, would you take my hand and walk? So you kind of go into a meditative state. And what I've seen, and actually when I did my try to leave here thing back in 2019 when I was in surgery, everything is more vibrant. The colors, even the strong colors that are here on Earth, are nothing to compare with the colors that are when we transition.
Yeah.
They're very vibrant. The smells, same thing. Everything is more vibrant when you cross over, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of like looking at ramped up auras, I guess would be a way to put it.
Yeah.
And but it's like, it's amazing. I won't lie, it's amazing. I didn't want to stay, but it was amazing. And when I'd walk these kids, it was funny too, because you know what? And maybe that's why it's bringing it up. Totems. When I was with the kids, I'd actually have totems that would show up when the kids were transitioning. And the one that I remember the most was, he was 5 years old. He passed from leukemia. His name was Michael. And he asked me to go with him. And we walked when he transitioned. And he got on the back of a cougar. Like a cougar. And he was so happy to see this cougar. And he just grabbed that cougar's neck, and he was on the back of this cougar. And I walked him to a point, and then I couldn't go any farther. But by the time we got to that point, he was good, right?
Right.
So totems are not only here, I think they're in the parallel universes or through the veils, whatever you want to call it or label it. I think they're always around us and protecting us and guiding us and assisting us.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, we have been on here for a while now, guys. So I'm going to be back tomorrow because Sean is off and he is actually going to be in a movie on Paramount Plus that'll be streaming next year. So he's off on an acting gig, and I'm happy for him. So I'm going to come back in tomorrow and do some readings. And then, of course, next week, same time, same place, Holly and I will be here.
What are we going to talk about next week?
Let's talk about crystals and gems. And I think there's a reason that might be popular for you. So, yeah, I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, my book, I just did another book for children to learn the ABCs of crystals. Yeah. And
Overachiever.
Yep, it just got published today, so it's available today on Amazon. You can get it for free on Kindle or go on Amazon and purchase it. I am in love with this particular book because it makes the meanings of crystals easy for kids to understand and retain. It's just so cute. It's so adorable. I love it.
Okay, so we'll bring that next week. We'll come on, we'll talk about crystals, gems, and stones, how to charge them, what works, what doesn't work, and just stories about them. So next week, grab a Cuppa and bring your crystals and rocks with you, and we'll sit and play with them and talk about them.
Me too, Ruth.
Of course, we'll have to have the book cover so we can show everybody the book cover.
I'll send it over to you right now.
All right.
It's called Crystal Treasures.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so everybody, thank you for coming in. I hope you've enjoyed it. You know, I know we pop all over with the stuff, but we kind of go by what you comment and ask. So until next Wednesday.
Adios. Have a good one, everyone. Happy solstice.
Guys. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Happy solstice. Go dance under the moonlight tonight.
Oh, yeah.
See y'all. Bye.